Very good morning, my dear students. In today's class, we will discuss about problem on income from capital gain. As we know that there are five heads of income under income tax. First one, income from salary. Number two, income from house property. Number three, income from business and profession. Fourth head, income from capital gain. Fifth head, income from other sources. The first two head, that is income from salary and income from house property, we have studied under income tax 1. Third head already were completed, that is income from business and profession. Now we are in a fourth head, income from capital gain. Let us see what is the meaning of income from capital gain. The income which is received from transfer or sale of capital asset is known as income from capital gain. The income which is received by the assessee by selling capital asset or by transferring capital asset to another person, it is taxable under the head income from capital gain. There are two types of capital asset. Number one, short-term capital asset. Number two, long-term capital asset. Under short-term capital asset, there are two types of capital asset, that is financial asset and another one is other capital asset. Financial asset and other capital asset. If financial assets used for less than 1 year like share bond debenture, it is known as short-term capital asset. It means if financial asset purchased and sold within the year, then it is treated as short-term capital asset. If other asset purchased and sold within 3 years like house property, jewelry, building, then it is treated as long-term capital asset. Short-term capital asset less than 1 year for financial asset, more than 1 year is treated as long-term capital asset. But for other asset, more than 3 years long-term, less than 3 years short-term capital asset. This point is very, very important from the point of examination while computing income from capital gain. And remember these points. All the depreciating asset treated as short-term capital asset. All the depreciating. If the depreciation rate or depreciation value or written down value given in the problem, then always it should be treated as short-term capital asset. And remember another thing, those assets are used for personal purpose by the assessee, it is exempted from capital gain. For example, personal motor car, personal jewelry, personal ornaments, or maybe personal refrigerator, television, this all, it should be treated as the personal asset and it is exempted from capital gain. The rural agricultural land exempted from capital gain. Remember, rural agriculture land is exempted from capital gain, but urban agriculture land, it is taxable. Remember these 2 points. And this is the format of capital gain for computing 6 marks question and 14 marks question. This capital gain format is very, very important for short-term capital asset and long-term capital asset. See, first, we need to take gross sale consideration. Gross sale consideration, it is nothing but the consideration or maybe the monetary benefit which is received by the assessee by selling the capital asset. Sale value of the capital asset. It is known as gross sale consideration. It is also applicable for short-term capital asset as well as long-term capital asset. And from gross sale consideration, we have to deduct realization expenses. The realization expenses nothing but to sell capital asset, what expenses incurred? The expenses in like brokerage, commission, stamp expenses, registration expenses, these all treated as realization expenses or transfer expenses, it is also deducted from gross sale consideration. From gross sale consideration, if you deduct realization expenses, the balance is known as net sale consideration. Net sale consideration. From net sale consideration, if given asset is short-term capital asset, then actual cost of acquisition applicable. Actual, what is the cost of real value of purchasing of asset, that is acquisition cost or actual cost of acquisition. Remember, it is only applicable directly for short term capital asset. It is not applicable for long term capital asset. For long term capital asset, indexed cost of acquisition applicable. Index, it is a number or maybe the symbol which is given by the Central Board of Direct Tax. It is directly applicable only for long-term capital asset. It will not applicable for short-term capital asset. For long-term, remember, for long-term index applicable, for short-term direct actual cost of acquisition applicable. The formula to calculate index cost of acquisition is cost of acquisition. What is the cost of purchase of particular asset divided by acquired year, in which year asset been purchased, and that year index will be given in the number from 2001 to till your previous year 2018-19. The index will be available, but depend upon purchase year you have to apply the index. Into sales year index, always sales will be done in your previous year, that is 2018-19. That year index, always it is 280, it should be taken. Remember, index will be applicable only for long term capital asset. And after that, for short term capital asset, you have to deduct cost of improvement. Cost of improvement directly applicable to short term capital asset, and for short term capital asset cost of improvement applicable. Cost of improvement means alteration cost or the additional cost which is made by the assessee for asset. For example, after purchasing capital asset, before selling capital asset, if assessee made any alteration or changes in or construction of first floor, second, like that, that is the cost of improvement. It should be directly deducted from short-term capital asset. It will not applicable for long-term capital asset. Minus indexed cost of improvement. The indexed cost, index only applicable for long-term capital asset. If there is a index cost of improvement and we have treated given asset as a long-term capital asset, then we have to apply cost of improvement. And cost of improvement formula, indexed cost of improvement formula, cost of improvement divided improvement year index. Which year improvement made, which year alteration made, or which year addition made, that index, financial year index to be considered into sales year index. Sales year index always is 2018-19 to 80. It should be deducted. Then we'll get gross capital gain or loss. If there is a gain, then gross capital gain. If there is loss, then it is gross capital loss. After that, you have to give exemption from capital gain. Exemption from capital gain. So, exemption from capital gain, if the given asset is short-term capital asset, then these are exemption can be applied, that is under section 54B, 54D, 54G, 54GA. And for long-term capital asset, 54, 54B, 54D, 54EC, 54F, 54G, 54GA. Here, exemption under section 54, it is applicable for long-term capital asset only, and provisions are purchase and sale and new purchase and amount to be deposited under capital gain account which is related to long term capital asset. Here residential house purchase ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, residential house ಸೇಲ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, and new residential house purchase ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, and capital gain account ಅಲ್ಲಿ amount ಅನ್ನ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಬೇಕು. These are the provisions related to exemption under section 54. It is applicable only for 54. Like that 54B, it is applicable for both short term and long term, which is related to purchase and sale and new purchase of agriculture land in urban area. Agriculture land ಅನ್ನ purchase ಮಾಡಿ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೊಸ agriculture land ಅನ್ನ purchase ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ we can give the exemption under section 54B. Like that 54D, 54G, there is a provision. These are all the provisions are available in your notes with very clearly, and we are for each and every provision we done with the problems. Please go through it. Either it is short term capital asset or long term capital asset. We are solved. Once again go through it. Then you will clear all the doubts about provisions, exemption from capital gain. It is very important. You can expect one question as a theory from this aspect. Explain the provisions of 54B or explain the provisions of 54F or explain the provisions of 54E selected. You can expect one question. And see, this is the problem on income from capital gain for 14 marks. Professor Raj enters into a partnership with 3 other persons on July 1st, 2018 to start a manufacturing business. The following capital assets are contributed by him as a capital contribution. Here assessee the Professor Raj. He entered into partnership business on 1st July 2018. Remember, this is the started year, means in that year he has sold the following asset. There are assets, that is gold and share unlisted. There are 2 assets. Date of acquisition 10th June 2002. Date of acquisition means purchase date. They purchased the asset on 10th June 2002 and share purchased on 2nd November 2003. On that date, fair market value on the date of transfer. Date of transfer, that is July 1st 2018. In that date, the value was 6 lakh and 3 lakh. Amount recorded in the books of the firm 5,90,000 and 8,50,000. By selling gold and shares, he has received 5,90,000 and 8,50,000. This amount they are recorded in the books of account. And cost of acquisition 2,10,000 and 2,70,000. Cost of acquisition, it is nothing but purchase cost of capital asset, that is gold and shares unlisted. And next, on 10th April 2018 he completes the construction of a residential house. This is the additional information which is given in the problem. 10th April 2018 he completes the construction of a residential house for which he has spent 10,40,000. 10,40,000 he has spent to construct a new residential house. Determine his net income from capital gain for the relevant assessment year 2018-19. 10th April he has purchased. This is the related information for exemption. We have to analyze either it is applicable for 54 or 54B or 54F. This is the cost inflation index. Cost inflation index for 2001 to 100, 2002 3, 105, 2003 4, 109, 2017 18, 272, 18 19, 280. This is the like that. And we'll go through the answer. We know the format of income from capital gain, that is computation of taxable income from capital gain. Here assessee is Professor Raj. Status, he is a resident. Assessment year 2019-20 and previous year assessment year 2019-20 and previous year 2018-19. Make it here 2019-20. And this is a format. I'll go through the format once again. See, there are two assets, that is gold and share. Gold purchased on 10th June 2002 and sold on 1st July 2018 when they started their business, partnership business. That date they are sold means. So the difference between purchase and sale of gold is more than 3 years because it belongs to other kind of capital asset. More than 3 years purchase and sale difference. So it is treated as long-term capital asset, and shares, it is a financial asset. More than 1 year long term, less than 1 year short term. The difference between purchase and sale. But here purchase date is 2nd November 2003 and sale date is 1st July 2018. So it is treated as a long term capital. So both the assets are capital asset. Both the assets are capital, long term capital asset. So gross sale consideration, that is the value which is entered in books of account. The book value of capital asset 5,90,000 and 8,50,000. There is no realization expenses minus realization expenses. There is no realization expenses like brokerage, commission, nothing they are mentioned. So it is nil. So net sale consideration 5,90,000 and 8,50,000. 8,50,000 and 5,90,000. See here, net sale consideration 5,90,000 and 8,50,000. From gross sale consideration, we have to deduct realization expenses. And another thing, both are capital long-term capital assets. So index cost of acquisition is applicable. The formula to calculate index cost of acquisition is cost of acquisition divided by acquired year index into sales year index. Cost of acquisition into sales year index is acquired year index. See here, fair market value also given and cost of acquisition given, but both are after 2002. The fair market value on the transfer of asset given. So it means on 1st July 2018 they are transferred. So fair market value and cost of acquisition given after 2002, date of acquisition 2002, fair market value on the date of transfer. Date of transfer means while selling the asset date, that is on 1st July 2018. Both are after 2002, then no need of comparing. If cost of acquisition before 2001 given and fair market value given as on 1st April 2001, then only we are making the comparison. But here both are after 2002, so no need of making the comparison. And index cost of acquisition formula, cost of acquisition is acquired year index into sales year index. So here cost of acquisition 2,10,000 and acquired year, it is purchased on 10th June 2002. The 10th June 2002, it will complete on 31st March 2003. So 2002-3 index to apply, that is 105, and sold 1st July 2018. So it is complete on 31st March 2019. So 2018-19 financial year index 280. And this is the, see here, fair market value and cost of acquisition given after 2001. So no need of comparing. We can take directly cost of acquisition for formula. And even for share also, cost of acquisition 2,70,000 and acquired year index, that is acquired on 2nd November 2003, which is will complete on 31st March 2004. So 2003-4 index 109 and sales year index 280. Sales always 2018-19. So 5,90,000 minus 5,60,000 will get 30,000. 8,50,000 minus 6,93,570 will get 1,56,422. And next, there is no index cost of imprint. As we know that there is a long-term capital asset, there is no index cost of improvement. So gross long-term capital gain for gold 30,000, for share 1,56,422. And remember here the given information exemption related additional information is given in the problem. See, additional information is given in the problem, that is on 10th April 2018 he completed the construction of a residential house for which he spent rupees 10,40,000. 10,40,000 he has spent. See, to give the exemption under section 54F, any long-term capital asset can be purchased and sold. Here, any asset, that is gold and share, it is other than residential house. Any capital asset can be sold, but while purchasing new asset or while constructing new asset, it must be residential house, residential, so that we can give the exemption under section 54F. 54F ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ಸರ್ಟೈನ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 54F ಅನ್ನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೆಟ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಜೊತೆ. ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೌಸ್, the cost of new residential house, the cost of new residential house, that is 10,40,000 minus 8,50,000, that is 1,90,000, is less than net sale consideration. Therefore exemption amount can be calculated as follows. 6 marks problem ಮಾಡುವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ into cost of new residential house divided by net sale consideration. Net sale consideration and calculate, if you divide you will get exemption amount, that is 30,000 divided by 5,90,000 into 1,90,000. the answer ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? Answer is 9,661. But for unlisted share, the cost of new residential house for 10,40,000 ಇದೆ, is more than net sale consideration. net sale consideration ಗಿಂತ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುವ ಕಾರಣ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಗಿಂತ ನ್ಯೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನ್ಯೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದು ನೆಟ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಮ್ಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ net sale consideration. Entire gross capital gain is exempted from tax. So therefore net capital gain for gold ಎಷ್ಟು, that is 20,339, and for unlisted share it is nil because gross long term gain 1,56,422 ಇದೆ and exemption amount ಸೇಮ್ 1,56,422 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹೌಸ್ 10,40,000 is more than net sale consideration, that is 8,50,000. therefore entire gross capital gain is exempted from tax. ಇದು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ you can expect for 14 marks, and from this chapter you can expect 2 marks 1 question, 6 marks 1 theory based on the 54 provision, and 1 14 marks question. Total you can expect 2 6 marks questions, 1 theory and 1 problem, and 1 14 marks question and 1 2 marks question theory. So this chapter is very very important. In next class we'll discuss second problem on income from capital gain. Thank you.